When my parents graduated, I mean, I remember this when we lived in Mount Pleasant, and my father graduated from Ferris State. He's a Ferris State alumni, like you stated, and he's a Army veteran as well. So he got out of the Army. He went to diesel mechanics school at Ferris State and graduated. And I can remember him. He's not a ceremony kind of guy. I just remember his diploma showing up one day at the house, like they mailed it to him. And I remember that he was working still full time, you know, and diesel mechanic, field mechanic is what they call him. He had a big shop basically on wheels, and he'd drive all over the state and fix Michigan Cat heavy equipment. And he was working, and at that time it was myself and my sister at the house. So my parents had 2 children. And I think back on it, my mom was a single mother before she met my dad, so she already had my brother Jason. She met my dad, they had me and my sister, started going to CMU, and got a political science degree. And I remember sitting in Rose Arena, watching my mom walk across the stage, you know, and I think that set the standard, that set the precedence. Like, it's not unattainable to get a college education and to work full time, and you know, and this was late 80s, early 90s. You know, the non-traditional student wasn't really a thing, you know, and they were doing it. They did it. They set that example that, you know, there was barriers, but they got it done. You know, they didn't miss any of my athletic events. You know, they were there. They were active, and they were attentive to what we had going on. And even if I wasn't happy with what I was doing, say in a sport, or you know, I didn't want to continue, then they didn't let me quit. You know, it wasn't like, oh, you don't want to wrestle this year? Well, you're halfway through the season, you're going to finish it. You know, and they let me make the decisions on my own, but I never quit anything. I wanted to box because, you know, you think it's tough and it's cool, and I knew my grandfather was a fighter, and it was something that I was interested in. But I've had a short career, 2 fights. I went to 1 tournament in Traverse City. It was ringside. I want to say it was a ringside sponsored, nationally sanctioned fight. Fighters from all over the country, all over Indian country. And I fought 2 fights and lost 2 decisions, and learned real quick I didn't like getting hit in the face, you know. So I became a helmet sports guy and played football. But, you know, kind of to tie that into my time here at SMU, I was being recruited at the time, and I went to that fight, and then I came here to a junior day workout the very next morning, and showed up and was tired and beat up, but I was here, and I was telling the coaches, yeah, I fought in a tournament last night, but I'm here. You know, I'm willing to work out, and it was you know, it was one of those things I look back at like, man, I had a lot of energy to be willing to do all that, you know. And on the football team here at Central, there's anywhere from 90 to 115 guys on the roster. You know, beginning of camp, and everybody shows up, there's 100 guys in that locker room. All walks of life, inner city kids from the country, you know, different nationalities, different ethnic groups, different backgrounds, right? You know, all over the state, all over the country. Literally guys from Miami-Dade, you know, and that I played with, that they've never seen snow before, you know, and could tell you stories about guys getting lost because the campus looks different because it's covered in snow, you know. When you're in that environment, you're around each other all day, and the goal is to win games. You know, I guess to talk about sports was my outlet as a kid. I'm not a tennis player, and I tried some golf, but contact sports was my thing. You know, that was my outlet. And I look back at sports now, and I recognize what it did for me. It gave me that incentive. It gave me that reason to go to class, and that reason to keep my grades up. And I mean, it's the whole reason I have a college education is because of football and what I loved, you know, with what sports did. I'm the first Chippewa to play for the CMU Chippewas. I mean, that's the truth. That's my reality. That's who I am, you know. It's sad in a way. It's good in a way. Why am I only the first? You know, I know a lot of great athletes that have come and gone before me. So that kind of blows my mind. And why am I the only one? I know a lot of great young athletes that have Division I talent, and that kind of blows me away. But I did it, and I think I set a good example of that it can be done, and I think the university was very supportive along the way. You know, every play doesn't go for a touchdown, and I think about, you know, how does that relate to my time here? And I played for Brian Kelly, and every game wasn't a multiple touchdown victory. You know, Brian Kelly had a thing that he would say to us that I still, you know, I live by and I coach by, and I appreciate is he would say, let's hang around. Let's hang around until the fourth quarter, and hang around enough so that we have a chance to win, and then the fourth quarter, we'll see how it ends up, you know. And we had a lot of come from behind victories, you know, that down 21-0, and we come back and win 24-21. That's the same thing, you know. You hang around, you do the work. It's every play, it's every player, every play. It's, you know, it's doing the little things, getting there, hanging around. There's our shot. There it is. That, you know, now everybody's got to do the right thing this one time, and we can get this win. You know, it translates so much to that professional realm. Hang around. Yeah, today wasn't a perfect day. That meeting didn't go great. The sales pitch maybe fell through today. Whatever it is, hang around. All right, hang around.
Show up.
You're right. Show up. Hang around. Like, okay, maybe this is that 2-minute drill that works out. Everything works perfectly to win the game. Everything works perfectly. You caught them on, you know, this sales pitch on the right day, and you made your quota or whatever it is, or, you know, you had this meeting. You know, we had this meeting, and you know, we worked with our CEOs, and we pulled off these, you know, incredible events, or, you know, a solid performance on the month for revenues or whatever. You know, it's just hang around, right? Do those little things to give you a chance to be there, to be in that winner's circle.